The holiday season has come to a close, and unfortunately, some of us probably also had too much to drink in the past few hours. If you find yourself charged with drunk driving this holiday season, Jansen and Associates can help you navigate the legal system and avoid making more mistakes. Jansen and Associates are members of the Colorado and Denver Bar Association. They belong to the Colorado Criminal Defense Bar and the National College of DUI Defense Attorneys, and they have no complaints registered with the Better Business Bureau. Molly Jansen is the owner and partner of Jansen and Associates. Welcome back and Happy New Year.
Thanks, you too.
First day of the new year.
Wow, here we go.
Literally now, what we were talking about before we started talking right here, hundreds of people have just probably been released from detox this morning or jail or whatever it might be for either a DUI or a domestic violence situation. It's the biggest day of the year that people go to jail.
It is very busy for police officers, I will tell you that. There are lots of people who are probably still sitting in jail this morning. It's a big night. There's a lot of drinking and driving, drugs and driving, theft, parties, a lot of fights at parties because of the alcohol and the drugs, a lot of domestic violence. There's a lot going on in the last 24 to 48 hours. Today is a busy day for a lot of people being released if they're not released already.
Okay, now I want to make sure people understand that you're an advocate of, if you're going to drink, don't drive.
Right.
If you're in, if you feel like you're at that level of abuse, you need to walk away. You're always telling people, don't put yourself in a bad situation, plan ahead, be smart about what you do. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that first.
I could say it 1,000 times. I'll continue to say it. Don't do drugs and drive. Don't drink and drive. If you find yourself in a situation where you are having an anger management issue, call someone that can help you walk through it. Walk away. Avoid it. That is the easiest way to not find yourself in a situation where you're on the phone with me by the end of today.
And if you have made this mistake, though, and you've gotten yourself in trouble, you really do need to get an attorney, though.
Well, you do, because with all that being said, the reality is you still have constitutional rights, and there are still processes that need to be followed, and you still are entitled to make sure that all of the regulations that are supposed to be followed are. But more importantly, that you know what your rights are, you know if there are issues as to whether those rights have been violated, and that you understand the legal process. It is not an easy process. That's why we all go to law school and have years of practice before we even get out there. But it can be very confusing and can be very daunting. And I see people in court every day who do not have lawyers, who are so lost, and I see them make the biggest mistakes where they say, I'll just plead guilty to get out of jail, or I'll just plead guilty because I don't understand and it's easier for me to do that. And I cringe. I literally sit in the courtroom and cringe at the idea that people just don't understand, so therefore they don't do anything about it. There are plenty of attorneys in this town. There are lots of attorneys that give free consultations. But reality is you got to call them, you have to investigate them, you have to talk to them, and you need to hire someone. Plus there's the public defender's office. So if you can't afford an attorney, you may qualify for one. But there's no reason you shouldn't have counsel when you are charged with a criminal offense.
And that's a great point, too, what you said about getting a free consultation. Find out. You don't have to hire an attorney at the end of the day if you decide not to, but at least find out, take advantage of that free consult.
Because a lot of attorneys, good attorneys, will walk you through. They will educate you. They will let you know what you're facing, what the process looks like, so that when you're calling around and talking to people, you can have that organic conversation with them. And you can say, you know what, my gut feeling says I trust this person. I believe what they're saying. They sound educated. This is someone I want fighting for me in the courtroom. Because I tell people every day, call more than one lawyer, talk to them, figure out who that person is that you connect with, because at the end of the day, you have to trust us. You have to know that this person fighting for me is the person I truly give everything to, because we're out there fighting the fight. And until you find that person, keep looking. And calling around, talking to people, that's the best way to do it.
Child abuse can come into play with DUIs and maybe even with domestic violence, I'd imagine, if children are in the home, if something breaks out.
That is very true. And what people need to understand is that if you are charged with child abuse and you are convicted, you have to be registered as a child abuser. So be very careful.
Great advice. Thanks for being here. Happy New Year. I'm going to tell our viewers how they can get a hold of you.
Thank you.
Jansen and Associates wants to ensure that you're represented fairly and informed about the charges against you before you make a bad decision. They're a criminal defense law firm, and they handle everything from traffic offenses to domestic violence to DUI to major felonies. Call them at 303-832-5400 or visit their website at jansenlegal.com. Remember that they offer free consultations. If you were just charged with drunk driving, don't wait another minute to get legal help. The number again is 303-832-5400.